Let's talk about math. Studies are showing that our math scores in third grade and up and our EOGs are slipping. We spend so much time on literacy, which is fabulous, we need to, that our math scores are now slipping because we're not paying as much attention. So, math in pre-K, that's what we're going to talk about. Just some ideas today. Math. We're going to talk about subitizing specifically and one-to-one correspondence. Math is more than just counting 1 to 20 or recognizing our numbers 1 through 20. It's so much more than that. Here are two, there are more, but here are two things we're going to talk about today. Subitizing. What is subitizing? Subitizing is the ability to see these dots and know that there are 4 of them. Okay, so for children, they need lots of practice of that, right? They need to say, where one-to-one correspondence comes in, 1, 2, 3, 4. They are able to take their finger, point to each one, and count up. For children in pre-K, it's best to work with 5 or 6 because the dice has 6 and under. And the faster they are at this, the better it'll be for them when they get to kindergarten. So, as transition ideas that are some ideas that how I snuck math in there without them really even knowing. Or you can plan them for small group activities. But a great way to start is just with a dice. This is a die. I usually start with 1. Later on in the year, some children will be able to do 2. They'll be able to add 2 up and go beyond the number 6. Don't push it if they can't. Stick with 1 if they can only do 1. But for them to roll the die, how many do you see? 1. Okay, roll the die. And I do this as transition. So as they get up from the carpet, they roll their die. How many? Some eventually will be able to say 5. Some will have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'll say how many? Because I want to hear 5. First, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many? And they're going to count. So I'm just going to help them and say, you have 5. Show my fingers 5, and they can go get in line. Eventually, they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did you have? 5. And they're going to know the last number they said is the number that they counted. Okay? So you can do it with a die. You can use flashcards. This is really the only time I use flashcards in my room. So I might hide it behind my back and I'll say, okay, Josiah, what number? And this is a big number because, and I do 6 because there are 6 on a die. But if I think, okay, he's not going to be able to do that, so I might try to trick him and pretend that it's a guess, but then I'll say, okay, Josiah, how many? 3. 1, 2, 3. And he'll say 1, 2, 3. 3. Good. You also have the number here to reinforce. This is the number 3. How many? 3. Good. You can go get in line. So then the next one would go, okay, Yanaya, how many? 5. She might be able to go 5. She might come up and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So there's another way to do it. Another great thing to use is dominoes. I got from Target. I found a great set, super cheap. It was like $10, the whole yard set of dominoes, of which I cannot find them in my toy room here, my school room. So I got to look for it. But I also made my own to where they were theme-based. So for Christmas, I used gingerbread man because we studied the gingerbread family, really. The mom, the boy, the sister, all of it. I reread them all. So I'll hide them behind my back and I'll say, okay, child A, how many? How many? And so I put them in different order. Eventually, they're going to see this as the 4. So then I'm going to want to mix it up a little bit, not just stick with the die way of reading 3, but also different ways of reading it. So she'll look at this and she might, by Christmas time, still come up and say 1, 2, 3, 4. How many? 4. Good. Go get in line. All right. How many? 5. Good. How many? How many do you see? Right? Okay. So that's subitizing. And I do them in different ways. Do you notice this 3 looks different than this 3? Still 3. So that's another question you can ask a child. Are these the same amount? Are they the same? How many are on this one? How many are on this one? 3. Good. Subitizing, one-to-one correspondence. Another way you can do it is they roll the die and they get 4. These are fabulous. This would be a game that I would play in maybe a small group. But these ice cube trays, they're all over. Target, Dollar Spot, Dollar Store. These and the mini erasers at the dollar store, I love them too. So we would count. Your number was 4. Okay, count. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many did you have? 4. That's subitizing. That's one-to-one correspondence. Not subitizing. That's one-to-one correspondence. 1 eraser, 1 mini eraser per hole, per pineapple hole. Okay? Great way to get math in and they don't even know it. And plus all the literacy and the vocabulary words that you're using. Eventually you can increase that math. If you've got somebody really bright and knows all this, you can use these ice cube trays, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 10 frame. Right? They use 10 frames in kindergarten. So you can roll the die, and let's say you get 6, and the child puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mini erasers in there. How many left? How many more do you need to fill up the whole thing? Now they're doing math because they know they put 6 in. Now they're not going to say 6 minus 4 equals 10, or 6 plus 4 equals 10. They're not going to say that. They're going to, or 10 minus 6 equals 4. That's okay. That's the foundation of math. You are building the thought process of that. How many more do you need? How many do you have left? Okay? How many more do you need to make 10? And you're just using that language. But math, so easy to add into your classroom. I'll come up with some more ideas.